Hellbenders, jaguars, Komodo dragon relatives, you don't have to travel far to find some weird animal in the US, and we love them all. With their vivid fusion of blue, green, yellow, and red, male painted buntings seem to have flown straight out of a child's coloring book. Females and immatures are a distinctive bright green with a pale eye-ring. These fairly common songbirds breed in the coastal southeast and in the south-central US, where they often come to feeders. They are often caught and sold illegally as cage birds, particularly in Mexico and the Caribbean, a practice that puts pressure on their breeding populations. Painted buntings eat seeds, particularly after the breeding season is over, starting in midsummer. They're more likely to visit a bird feeder in a yard with low, dense vegetation. The western population of painted buntings begins its fall migration before molts in staging areas in northern Mexico, then continues to migrate further south. This migration molt pattern is common among waterfowl but very rare among songbirds. In contrast to the western population, the eastern population of painted buntings molts on its breeding grounds before migration. The French name of the painted bunting, nonpareil, means without equal, a reference to the bird's dazzling plumage. In 1841, John James Audubon reported that thousands of the colorful birds were caught every spring and shipped from New Orleans to Europe, where they fetched more than 100 times the price when sold as cage birds. They are still illegally trapped and sold in large numbers in Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, and to a lesser extent in Florida, despite efforts by conservationists to curb illegal trade. The oldest recorded wild painted bunting was at least 12 years old, as reported from a Florida banding study. These semi-aquatic rodents, also known as coipus, were introduced to the US by fur farmers who had no idea the havoc the creatures would wreak on infrastructure such as ditches and levees. According to the US Fish and Wildlife Service, Nutria can be found in Louisiana, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Washington, and Oregon. Though they look like a combination of a lemur, raccoon, and monkey with possibly a bit of piglet thrown in, Coatimundi are officially part of the raccoon family, Procyonidae, along with kinkajous, ringtails, and olingos. These furry creatures mainly inhabit parts of South and Central America, but can also be found in Arizona and New Mexico. They hang out in trees and have brown-colored fur and a long snout that helps them forage for insects and fruit. Their ringtails give off more raccoonish vibes, but there are plenty of distinctive characteristics that set Coatimundi, also called coatis, apart from their black and white cousins. The name Coatimundi is believed to come from the Tupian languages indigenous to South America. Their word, coatii, is a combination of qua meaning belt and tim meaning nose, describing the way the coati sleeps with its nose tucked into its belly. They use these special noses to sniff out grubs like beetles and termites, plus the occasional frog, lizard, or mouse. Unlike raccoons, who are primarily nocturnal, coatis stay awake during the day. The name Coatimundi was originally used to describe adult males that live alone, translating into lone coati, but it is now used universally. Along with being good swimmers, coatis are excellent climbers. While most of the day is spent foraging for food on the ground, they do their sleeping, mating, and birthing in trees. Groups of coatis, called bands, consist exclusively of females and their young. Numbers range from 4 to 20 individuals at a time, but sometimes reach up to 30. These bands tend to be noisy, with constant grunts, chirps, and snorts. After male babies reach 2 years of age, they go off on their own, while the females remain in the band with their mothers. Unlike some fellow arboreal mammals, coatis can't use their tails for gripping. Instead, the long and banded tails act as balancing poles while the animals are climbing. The Crested Caracara is a medium-sized, bulky raptor with long legs. Its flat head is topped with a shaggy crest. In flight, note its long, straight wings and diamond-shaped tail. The bill is heavy with a sharp tip. Crested Caracaras are black and white with yellow-orange legs and yellow-orange skin around the bill. Their black cap contrasts strongly with their white neck and cheeks. In flight, the undertail and outer flight feathers are white. Juveniles are brown and white and lack the adult's yellow-orange legs and facial skin. Crested caracaras often fly close to the ground with slow and powerful wing beats. In flight, they hold their wings flat similar to a bald eagle and don't teeter like a vulture. They are equally adept at walking on the ground as they are in the air. Crested caracaras often join vultures to feed on carrion. Crested caracaras inhabit open country including pastures, cultivated areas, deserts, scrub, and savannas. They perch on scattered trees, poles, and fences that offer a good view of the surroundings. Crested caracaras regularly walk or run on the ground. To get airborne, they take a few running steps, lifting gently into the air. Once in flight, they fly with strong and slow wing beats with their wings held flat, scanning for prey below. They keep territories year-round and are not social with other birds other than their mate during the breeding season. Breeding birds tend to be more aggressive toward other crested caracaras and vultures at carcass sites, but seem more tolerant outside the breeding season and even roost communally at times. Pairs form year-round bonds with each other and stay together for several years. Pairs and family groups frequently preen each other, a behavior known as allopreening. Pairs maintain strict territorial boundaries, quickly chasing away intruders from the nest site during the breeding season. They are faithful to the nest site and return to the same site and sometimes the same tree year after year. Gila monsters are black, patterned along their backs with contrasting pink or orange. In the southern subspecies, the reticulated Gila monster, the light markings are broken up to form a reticulated pattern. In the northern subspecies, the banded Gila monster, the light markings generally form an unbroken band across the back. The largest lizards in the United States, Gila monsters can measure up to about 22 inches, 56 centimeters in total length. The Gila monster lives primarily in Arizona and Mexico, the extreme southeastern corner of California, the southern tip of Nevada, and the southwestern corners of Utah and New Mexico. Its name comes from the Gila River, where the lizards are common. Gila monsters are desert dwellers, living near washes and arroyos and in semi-arid rocky regions of desert scrub or grasslands. Gila monsters also seem to prefer rocky foothills and avoid open flats and agricultural areas. They can live at elevations up to 5,000 feet, 1,500 meters. The Gila monster is one of only small number of venomous lizards, including the Mexican beaded lizard, the Komodo dragon, and some Australian species. It can bite quickly and hold on tenaciously. Rather than injecting venom through hollow fangs like venomous snakes, Gilas have enlarged, grooved teeth in their lower jaw. When they bite, their powerful jaws chew the venom in through capillary action along the grooves in these teeth. Gila monster venom is about as toxic as that of a western diamondback rattlesnake. However, a relatively small amount of venom is introduced in a Gila bite. Gila monsters may hold onto a predator for more than 10 minutes. There's no antivenom for Gila bites. Gila monsters most often raid nests to prey on small birds and eggs. They also catch small mammals, lizards, frogs, insects, and carrion. They can eat up to 1/3 of their body weight in one meal. Their large size means they can store more energy than smaller lizards. They store fat both in their tails and their bodies. Their low metabolic rates and ability to eat large meals combined with their capacity to store fat make frequent searching for food unnecessary. Therefore, Gila monsters often stay hidden underground. It has been suggested that Gilas can consume all the calories they need for a year in 3 or 4 large meals. Their top speed is only 1.5 miles per hour, 2.4 kilometers per hour. They are usually solitary animals but do gather in communal areas in the spring for mating. Gila monsters have a home range of about 1 square mile, 1.6 square kilometers. They normally live 20 or more years in human care, though the record is 36 years. Jellyfish aren't uncommon on, say, the beaches of New Jersey, but the lakes of many states in the U.S. are a much different story. Still, the state of Wisconsin has verified multiple sightings of Craspedacusta sowerbii, a species of freshwater jellyfish indigenous to China. The 1-inch jellyfish, or maybe hydra relative, can't cause much harm to humans, though. Their stingers are far too small to even pierce our skin. According to the Nature Conservancy, the best time to see them is in August or September in calm, shallow waters. That is, if you see them at all. It's reported that in some years in the lakes they inhabit, they can be plentiful, while in other years they are quite scarce. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like it. See you later.